The Ross Gay poem is about the death of Eric Garner, who I think most people know died in 2014. It's on video, so you can watch what happened to him. He was selling loose cigarettes on the sidewalk, and he was arrested by a policeman and thrown on the sidewalk in a chokehold and died. And it's a really horrifying video to watch. It's also a very degrading death, a not beautiful death that is pictured. And his last words were, "I can't breathe, I can't breathe." So that's become kind of a slogan in the Black Lives Matter movement. What I really love about this poem is the way Ross Gay took a story that is only dark and sad and tragic and really lifted it up into something else, really honored Eric Garner by making us think about him as someone other than a man who will live on forever for what's on YouTube. So I'm just going to read it and then make a few comments if you have a comment. This is a poem also that I use with my students when I taught high school girls. It really speaks to them. They are really the Parkland High School generation, and they feel very, very strongly about kind of having grown up in a world where gun violence is a terror that I think is much more part of their daily experience than even of mine, because I didn't have to grow up in that world. So the title is "A Small Needful Fact," is that Eric Garner worked for some time for the Parks and Rec, Horticultural Department, which means perhaps that with his very large hands, perhaps in all likelihood, he put gently into the earth some plants which, most likely, some of them, in all likelihood, continue to grow, continue to do what such plants do, like house and feed small and necessary creatures, like being pleasant to touch and smell, like converting sunlight into food, like making it easier for us to breathe. I love, again, the fact that he's taken this life that really was dishonored, even if it has been a point of inspiration, and he's turned it into this really, to me, lifted it up, really transcendent moment. And I love the use of perhaps. I love the sort of the grace with which he uses his imagination to take this story in a different direction. I really love the fact that it's all one sentence, so it actually takes breath to finish the sentence. And that he's, and then even the title, Needful, I think is a really interesting word choice as opposed to necessary. And that it's small. This is a small thing, and yet the small thing to me is kind of what poetry is in terms of the world that it can create.